Good Thursday morning, everybody. I'm Dave Furtado.
And I'm meteorologist Jefferson Donovan.
And welcome to KEPR Quick, your latest local news and weather commercial free in about 28 minutes or less. We're going to jump right into weather here because there was a little bit of some active weather earlier this week. How are things shaping up as we head into the weekend?
Yeah, we did see some region-wide rainfall yesterday. Amounts stayed pretty light, but we did see some of that region-wide rainfall on Wednesday. Now today we are not going to be looking at rainfall. It is going to be a cool day though, and winds are going to be blustery around the forecast area. Almost all of us could be facing gusts up to 30 miles per hour today. We'll talk more about those forecast peak wind gusts in a bit. We're also going to be getting back to sunshine as we head into Friday with warming temperatures, and then highs will get back to the 90s as we do head into Saturday and Sunday. More typical August-like weather. We'll talk more about all three of these weather headlines, in fact, coming up in a bit.
Thanks, Jefferson. We begin this morning in Umatilla County. A 20-year-old man drowned in the Columbia River over the weekend. It happened Sunday evening at Warehouse Beach off Highway 730. The Umatilla County Sheriff's Office says Luis Adrian Orpeza Perez was trying to swim from the east to an island's west bank when he struggled and ultimately drowned. Friends and others on the beach attempted to revive him, but were not successful. And there's new details in a homicide investigation out of Sunnyside this morning. Yakima County Sheriff's deputies now confirm the suspect is 29-year-old Sunnyside resident Miguel Angel Granados Vargas. There is a warrant for his arrest for murder in the second degree following an incident on Monday in the area of Maple Grove Road and Chaff Road. He is considered armed and dangerous. If you see him or know where he is, you're urged to contact police right away. And a man is in the hospital with gunshot wounds after an altercation led to bullets flying. According to Kennewick police, officers responded to the area of West 10th Avenue just after 10 last night after reports that someone had been shot. Arriving officers transported a man in stable condition to the hospital. Police were able to arrest a 26-year-old suspect without incident. After investigating, police found that the victim got into a verbal argument with the 26-year-old and a third person, which then got physical. While the victim was in an altercation with that third person, the 26-year-old man grabbed his gun and began shooting, eventually hitting the victim while he was trying to escape. The 26-year-old was booked into the Benton County Jail on first-degree assault charges. And a frightening situation outside the Southridge Sports Complex in Kennewick yesterday morning when a man with body armor was brandishing a gun. It happened just before 7. Multiple witnesses told Kennewick police that the man with the gun was pointing it at randomly at people who were driving by. After initially being non-compliant with officers, Kennewick police say they were able to take the man into custody on a second-degree assault charge. And we continue our focus on fentanyl series, turning our attention to law enforcement and first responders. As KIMA's Anissa Williams explains, the call's constant, the tools limited, and officers on the front lines say they're overwhelmed.
When I started seeing fentanyl in this county up to this point now, I was very little when the crack epidemic was going throughout the country, but I've never seen anything like it until we started seeing fentanyl.
Fentanyl really wasn't an issue 5 years ago.
We actually started seeing it in the fall of 2017. 8 years ago, the pills were $25 and $30 a piece, and an average user could use up to 1 pill per day. They would break that into pieces, but now there's users that are using pills that are 20, 30 pills a day. But pills are kind of phasing out because we have powder fentanyl now, which is much stronger, much more expensive.
And the workload keeps growing.
I can drive down the street, but I could make 5 or 6 arrests within 10 or 15 minutes just for the use or possession. I get the cases that the officers are making arrests on for use and for distribution come to me, and I say that I process upwards of 10 to a dozen cases a week.
But arrests don't always stick.
They're released very quickly within a day or two. And our frustration is that they don't stop. The day they're out, they get their cell phone or they do whatever and they start right back up. And we re-arrest these people, we reinvestigate these people, and it's kind of gets to a point where it's like, why am I doing this again? But there does need to be something in place where when somebody's ready to go, they can go now, not come back in November and we'll see if we can get you a bed.
What we lack here is a way for them, once they're processed through the criminal justice system, to get into some type of treatment or some type of follow-up.
Even when someone wants help, options are limited.
Somebody goes to jail for 3 to 6 months and they walk out the door and they don't have a stable place or stable plan once they leave jail, the likelihood of them falling back into that lifestyle is very high. And that's not something that criminal justice system or the police department has the ability to impact once they leave jail.
Boyle says the department is doing everything it can, but they are stretched thin.
I think our community could use 20 or 30 more police officers to be really effective. There's a lot of things that we would like to do. It's just a matter of staffing that allows us. I think there's the emotional and mental toll that has to do with daily seeing the violence and just the lifestyle that people live. That takes a toll mental health wise on our officers because of just the lifestyle that people choose, or the violence associated with it, or the apathy that people have for themselves and others. But there's also the frustration, and it's frustration that's felt not just by myself, but a fair amount of our officers and throughout the valley, and I think it's probably statewide, of just where it almost feels like sometimes you're spinning your wheels because you're rearresting the same people, and the consequences just don't seem to match the crimes that are being committed and the devastation that it's causing in our entire community.
Both say this isn't just a law enforcement issue. It's a community-wide crisis that demands more treatment options, more housing, and stronger support systems.
We can't win it on our own. There's no way that we can arrest our way out of this issue.
For officers, the job is about more than making arrests. It's about protecting people and saving lives.
At the end of the day, our reason is because we need to prevent death. And drugs kill people. And so, no, I don't ever feel like it's a waste. I think there is kind of a stigma amongst law enforcement that we're out there trying to just lock everyone up and throw away the key, and that's just not it. We're human beings as well. We don't like seeing other human beings die, and if we can be a part of the team that solves a problem, then we're here.
For David Lind and his AMR crews, fentanyl overdoses are now part of daily life.
Well, certainly daily, multiple times daily, probably averaging 12 a day.
And what worked years ago doesn't always work now.
You're seeing multiple doses being given versus, years back, it was one dose for sure, but now, people are getting 2 and 3 doses.
The overdoses are more frequent and more severe.
We use Narcan to, save their life, to counteract the drugs. We're participating in a statewide Narcan Leave Behind program. I have Narcan on all my ambulances that, when we go to these scenes that we offer folks, so they have the ability to have Narcan close by.
Narcan saves lives, but only if it's used in time.
Narcan always works, but if you're too far along in the process of not breathing, Narcan's not going to help. You're going to go into cardiac arrest. Time is of the essence.
And even when it does work, the battle isn't over.
Many times they won't even allow us to transport them. Once they become awake, they have the right to make up their own mind. Narcan only lasts, 30 to 90 minutes, kind of, depending on how much stuff is in your system. The effects could wear off. So you always encourage them to, be seen, but many times they just simply walk away.
When it comes to Narcan, Lynn says it's not about politics. It's about what works in the field.
We don't have it as like a specific stance. The drug works. It does exactly what we want it to do. And so, while Narcan may not be the greatest fix, it's the best tool we have in our toolbox today.
There's a common misconception that this crisis only affects the homeless, but that's not what Lynn sees.
It's not just in one section of Yakima County. You're going to houses, businesses, and everywhere in Yakima County.
For those on the front lines, the toll goes beyond just physical exhaustion.
I think it does wear when you're doing your best, and when people don't want their help, that kind of wears on you. Just the lack of solutions, and I won't say that there's not solutions out there, but there's funding is always something you have to consider, and how do you do that? I know that there's probably 1,000 pieces to the puzzle here to try to advance any real form, but you just worry about it getting worse. We are seeing obviously stronger variants because you're giving more drugs, fentanyl related or drug overdose related, call volumes being up. You don't see an end in sight.
KIMA's Anissa Williams, thank you. Local law enforcement we spoke to tell us they continue to do everything they can, but say the root of the crisis reaches far beyond the justice system. You'll be able to see the entire series in one documentary later this week on our YouTube channel. That's at KIMA Action News. Switching gears this morning, Senator Patty Murray was in town yesterday, stopping by Tri-Cities Community Health to sound the alarm on cuts to Medicaid coverage. Surrounded by leaders from local hospitals, the longtime Democrat senator says billions of dollars in cuts to the social program are going to harm Washingtonians, especially in our area.
We are here today because Central Washington is going to get especially hard hit by this. The 4th Congressional District has the highest Medicaid enrollment of any district in our state. This is an area where lots of working class families benefit from the health care tax credits.
Now, when asked about Representative Dan Newhouse of the 4th District who voted in support of the big, beautiful bill, Senator Murray says he needs to listen to local health care leaders.
My family and I have been recipients of Medicaid. It was my first insurance in this world. It was the insurance that got my mom through her pregnancy with me. And without it, we would have had no access to health care insurance, and it would have prevented us from accessing care. I am just one of thousands of success stories that show what consistent access to health care can do. And it is a benefit that every Washingtonian deserves access as well.
Now, several other leaders from our local healthcare system also spoke, saying they are extremely concerned about how this could impact not only families, but capacities of local emergency rooms when people don't get preventative care. Meanwhile, a new report from the State Department of Agriculture digs deeper into mental health issues and possible solutions for agricultural workers. Leading this charge is Representative Tom Dent from the 13th District. KIMA's John Franklin caught up with him yesterday to talk the current state of mental health in rural areas and what can be done by lawmakers to improve conditions.
So the agricultural sector in the United States has the highest suicide rate of any sector. Okay, so so what's with that?
There are 24% more suicides in rural and small towns across Washington when compared to the state average.
My original plan or my original driving factor was, would it be feasible to have a separate hotline for our rural areas?
A suicide prevention hotline for rural farm workers would help in an emergency, but the report looks at what might drive a farm worker to that point.
The hotlines, however they're constructed, whether it's 988 or something different, is the Band-Aid part, okay? But swimming upstream and looking at the causes and seeing if there's some ways that we can eliminate some of the challenges and the stresses that go on our agriculture producers and farm workers. That's the prevention part, right?
Dent is passionate about giving people the help they need and hopes that people accept it.
You know, the stigma of mental health has been there for a long time, right? It's a bigger stigma here than it is in urban areas because you guys have been talking about it and dealing with it, right?
Some recommendations include education, outreach, incentivizing preventative measures, funding research on the topic, and targeting financial stressors.
You know, and I'm the guy who originally was looking at expanding the hotline, and now I'm looking more at going upstream. And I'd really like us to take a look at the regulatory overload we put on our producers and farm workers in our rural communities altogether.
KIMA's John Franklin, thank you. And right now, the recommendations in that report are just that, recommendations. We don't know if they get accepted or not until the next legislative session ends and whether or not Governor Ferguson's signature is on a document with a new law. However, if you are experiencing a mental health emergency, you can always call the National Suicide Crisis Hotline by dialing 988. We're going to switch gears to some traffic news. A heads up for people driving through West Richland. As part of the major improvements to Highway 224, a vital connection for the city, work is set to get started on a new roundabout. Beginning today, 224 and Belmont Boulevard will be closed for the work, and a detour will be in place. People driving through the area should plan for delays. And the finishing touches to the Tri-City's second Costco are well underway. The new store, which is located behind Target in Richland, is set to open tomorrow at 8 a.m. Road improvements in the area have already been completed, and a large sign is draped across the main entrance, letting people know they'll have a new place to shop very soon. Many local residents are hoping it will help alleviate foot traffic at the Kennewick Costco. And in some back-to-school news, students across the Tri-Cities and the Yakima region continue to face challenges getting basic school supplies. Now, through August 16th, you can help by donating new unwrapped backpacks and school supplies at participating Le Schwab locations. Online donations are also available through Amazon wish lists for local districts, including the Tri-Cities, Yakima, Sunnyside, and Toppenish. Every donation helps ensure kids are better prepared for the school year ahead. And at Tamaki Law's Yakima office, families lined up early for a back-to-school supply drive aimed at helping students start the year prepared. The event offered free backpacks and school supplies to the first 100 students, ranging from notebooks and pencils to snacks, along with a few surprises, including gift cards. Organizers say the line cleared in just 20 minutes.
Personally, this event means giving back to our community and being able to just engage on a more human level, and really, be there for families in times when things are expensive and it's difficult to make sure that your kid feels like they're included. So that's really important for me, to be able to give back outside of the courtroom and outside of our office.
Now, whether it becomes an annual tradition is still up in the air, but for families who showed up, the support came at the right time, with the start of the school year just around the corner. And with that, let's jump right over to meteorologist Jefferson Donovan to talk the weather for today. We're starting to feel like that autumn-like temperatures, or actually we're ending that feeling of autumn-like temperatures.
Yeah.
Now that we're going to see temperatures back up, into the triple digits possibly?
Yeah, potentially by the start of next week, but we are going to get through a weekend first that is going to feature highs into the 90s. Now today is going to be another relatively cool day with highs only in the 70s and 80s. Keep in mind we should be in the upper 80s to low 90s this time of year, so another day of below average temperatures to be sure. In the Tri-Cities, anticipate low to mid 80s on this Thursday. We will be into the upper 70s to low 80s for the Yakima Valley, low to mid 70s in the Kittitas Valley today, with upper 70s to low 80s for the Blue Mountain foothills. Now, what I will say is that despite some cloud cover at the time of this recording, we will see generally clearing skies by this afternoon, and in fact by the late afternoon and evening hours, most of us will be looking at mostly sunny skies. Taking a look at the Storm Tracker Futurecast as we go into this afternoon around your 4 o'clock hour, a vast majority of the region will be dry and storm free, but there may be some precipitation through Adams County and into North Franklin County around Washtenaw. Now, as we go into the evening hours, this precipitation will be pushing off to the east, and all of us will be looking at dry weather and clearing skies by the time we do get to the evening hours. So precipitation not a big concern for today, but something we all will notice will be blustery wind. We could see gusts as high as 30 miles per hour in the Tri-Cities, Yakima, and Walla Walla today. Gusts up to 35 miles per hour this afternoon in Pendleton, with gusts all the way to 40 miles per hour in Ellensburg. Now, as we go into tomorrow, we are going to be looking at lighter winds across the vast majority of the viewing area, but gusts could still reach 30 miles per hour on Friday in the Kittitas Valley. Now, let's take a look at the next 2 days after today. On Friday, we are going to be looking at high temperatures returning to the 80s, low to mid 80s for Ellensburg and Pendleton, with mid to upper 80s for Walla Walla, Yakima, and the Tri-Cities. And as we do progress into Saturday, we will be talking about upper 80s to low 90s across the forecast area, and to a point Dave was alluding to, as we get towards the end of the weekend and into next week, there is a possibility that we see triple digits back on the docket. We'll have more on that tomorrow, but for right now, I'm going to toss it back over to Dave.
Thanks, Jefferson. Astrea Toppenish Hospital hosted a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the opening of their new behavioral health unit. The hospital received a significant amount of funding to make it possible. The new unit more than doubles their previous number of beds and provides a wider range of opportunities for those in the Yakima Valley in need of behavioral health care. KRME's Aiden Connor was in attendance and tells us more.
Toppenish Hospital continued to grow and flourish. The clinic is growing with it.
So in 2024, we served over 80 patients in our program, and with the opening of our new unit, it doubles our capacity and allows us to offer critically needed behavioral health services to additional Washington State residents.
The behavioral health team takes a personalized approach aimed towards giving the patient a comforting and welcoming environment to discuss what they have been through.
We use a trauma-informed approach, so rather than asking a patient, what's wrong with you, we ask what happened to you.
Hospital Administrator Kathy Bambrick says the hospital has received significant funding for their expansion.
We were able to achieve and received $8.6 million for this project, which is outstanding. It covered all the costs of the project. We also received $2.4 million to remodel our existing 15-bed unit, which was built in the 1960s and is dire need of renovations.
Bambrick says that the decision to expand the program is a testament to the community and their desire to improve mental health services across Yakima County.
The community has come together over the past several decades to really address and prioritize behavioral health services for the county. All the social and health service organizations across the county have been working tirelessly to address the needs and improve access.
She credits the behavioral health team for their dedication to the community.
They are a trauma-informed behavioral health team that serve the most vulnerable population every day within the community, and we are just so proud of all the work that they do.
Through individualized services and support from the local community, Estrella Toppenish Hospital looks to bring high-quality behavioral health care to the Yakima Valley.
KIMA's Aiden Connor, thank you. And the new behavioral health unit will increase the number of service beds from 14 to 29. The clinic is located at 502 West 4th Avenue in Toppenish and will offer services 24/7, 365. And now on to the gauntlet of election results. The latest numbers dropped for Benton and Yakima County races. A reminder, though, for the races, the top two candidates with the most votes will move on to the November election. As for the measures, they're getting decided in this election. With that, let's jump right to the results. We're going to begin in Benton County, starting in Kennewick, where there are 3 city council positions on the ballot. In the race for position 1, there are 3 candidates. After the latest vote count, it's looking like current council member Jason McShane and Austin Miller will be squaring off in November. And now on to position 3. John Trumbo has been on the council since 2014 and has 2 challengers. He has a solid lead, but the race for second for the November spot is pretty close, with Warren Hughes having a 3-point lead over Douglas Perez. For position 4, there are 3 candidates, including Brad Clippert, who served in the Washington State House of Representatives for 14 years. He has a solid lead with 68% to Gloria Tyler Baker's 26%. And now on to Richland, where there are 4 positions for the Richland City Council on the ballot, starting in position 3, where Sandra Ken is running for re-election. She has 2 challengers who both have big leads over her. It's looking like Pat Holton and Robert Walco will square off in November. On to the race for position 4, where Ryan Luxon is not running for re-election, so a new council member will be elected in the 11th month. There are 3 candidates, and so far it's looking like it'll be John Meyer and Donald Landsman. And let's check the results for position 6, where Kurt Meyer is seeking re-election. He's leading with 45% of the vote, with Kyle Saltz in second with about 39%. And in position 7, current councilmember Ryan Witten has 3 challengers. Witten has the lead after the latest vote count, with Colin Michael in second place. The city of Prosser has a council position on the ballot. Position 2 has 3 candidates, including Bill Jenkin, who served 2 terms in the state house and was president of the school board. Currently, Jenkin and Vince Glasscock have the most votes, with Jackie Kimball in third with 15% of the votes. The Kennewick School Board has 1 race on the ballot. It's for District 1. Micah Valentine wants another term. He's got 55% of the vote, with Robert Franklin in second at 38%. Benton County Fire District 1 has a levy on the ballot. They're asking voters to approve a 22-cent increase for every $1,000 of assessed property value to help with the rising costs of their operations. After the latest vote count, voters are supporting this measure with 60% of the vote. And despite the loaded field, several positions in Benton County have no candidates. Election officials have extended special filing periods in the hope someone will run to fill them. That includes the Benton City Council position 2, positions with the Coyote-Benton School District, and positions with some local fire districts. The filing period opened yesterday and closes tomorrow at 4:30 in the afternoon. On to Yakima County and the race for county coroner. The ballot will decide who will complete the remainder of the term following the resignation of Coroner Jim Curtis. So far, Marshall Slight is in the lead with 74% of the vote. Dan Williams is falling behind with over 26% of the votes cast. We're going to move on to the race for Yakima City Council District 4. As of now, Juliet Petrikis is leading with about 53% of the votes cast. She will likely face Janice DiCio in the general election, who is in second place with almost 24% of the votes. In one of the most keenly watched races, Mapton Mayor Rachel Roulas will not advance to the November ballot. Voter attempts to recall Roulas have failed, but they've now had their say. Martha Gonzalez is in the lead with over 59% of the votes, while Laura Vasquez is in second with about 32%. Mayor Roulas has received less than 9% of the votes cast. And in the race for Granger City Council position 3, Ryan Stonemetz is in first place with just over 38% of the vote. His likely November opponent is Juan Isadora, who is following close behind with over 35% of the votes cast. To the school district races now, starting off with the race for Yakima School District 7 Director Position 1. Pam Shelton is leading the race with 61% of the votes, while Esperanza Lemos is in second with 32%. As for the race for Position 2 of the Yakima School District number 7, Ryan Beckett is in the lead with 52% of the votes. He'll likely face off with Jonathan Babcock, who is in second with just under 34%. We're moving now to the race for Selah School District. Larry Patching is leading the race with over 43% of the votes. Katrina Henkel is in second with just under 30%. Both will likely head to the general election. As for the race for Grandview School District 5, Alina Olmstead is leading with over 70% of the overall vote. Amanda Rodriguez in second place with more than 19%. As for the race for Sunnyside School Director for District 3, Laura Galvin is in the lead with 50% of the votes cast. Elvistro Salas III is in second with over 40%. And we're going to move on now to the races in Kittitas County, and we're going to start off with a race for Hospital District 1 Commissioner. As of now, Terry Clark is in the lead for the race with about 52% of the votes cast. Daniel Arnold following behind with almost 40% of the votes. And in the race for Fire Protection District 5 Commissioner, Timothy Smith has taken the majority vote with 67%. Kenton Gartrell is in second place with 19%, and Nicholas Bredwell is in third with over 13% of the votes. And another reminder, more votes will be counted over the next several days, so the results are not final. Kittitas and Yakima counties expect their next numbers update to be released tonight. Benton and Walla Walla county's next data dump is tomorrow afternoon, and Franklin County will update theirs a little under 2 weeks from now. They have just under 100 ballots left to count. The election will be certified by August 22nd, and be sure to head over to our websites for updated results as more votes are counted. But that does it for us. Thank you for watching this episode of Keeper Quick. For more local news and weather, you can head over to our websites, Keeper and KIMATVs.com, as well as our Facebook pages. But while you're here, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep up with our latest mini newscasts Monday through Friday. Have a terrific Thursday, everybody.